Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Well, that comment by Jimmy Kimmel just 2 days before the third attempt on President Trump's life, prompting calls from the president and the First Lady for ABC to pull him off the air. And yesterday, Melania Trump posted a rare and powerful statement. She writes, quote, "Kimmel's hateful and violent rhetoric is intended to divide our country. His monologue about my family isn't comedy. His words are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America. A coward, Kimmel hides behind ABC because he knows the network will keep running cover to protect him. Enough is enough. It is time for ABC to take a stand." And last night, Kimmel responding this way.
It was a pretend roast. I said, our First Lady Melania is here. Look at her, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow, which obviously was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. It was a very light roast joke about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not, by any stretch of the definition, a call to assassination, and they know that. I've been very vocal for many years speaking out against gun violence in particular, but I understand that the First Lady had a stressful experience over the weekend, and probably every weekend is pretty stressful in that house. And also, I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband about it.
Senior advisor to First Lady Melania Trump, Marc Beckman, joins us now. Thanks so much for coming on, Marc.
Thank you for having me.
Well, he responded last night. What does Melania think about that? Is she buying it?
It's done. It's over. Jimmy Kimmel should be terminated from ABC. And I think ABC needs to determine, is this the type of person and violent rhetoric that it wants to affiliate with? Think about it. ABC has been protecting Jimmy Kimmel now for a long time. This isn't an isolated incident. It's been going on and on and on. And the problem, as you're very well aware, is that there are crazy people out there who are listening to this violent rhetoric, this terrible political-oriented violent rhetoric, and they're turning it into action. So for the third time now, our president has had his life at risk.
Yeah.
And it's because of this rhetoric. There's no doubt about it.
It's
so
almost
the First Lady's had enough.
It's almost become normalized. People are laughing about this. And I think we need to look at ourselves. If we're laughing at the fact that we think it's great to know that the president, his life could be taken. Some Democrats have, if you read online, some of them are cheering for that.
It's completely normalized, and that's the problem. It's within the entire Democrat ecosystem. And as a result, there was a report in this week's Wall Street Journal that there is more political violence coming from the Democrats towards the Republicans than vice versa. And it needs to stop. Think about the Democrat ecosystem that's creating this violent rhetoric. It happens not just from government officials. I think Hakeem Jeffries doubled down yesterday as well. But it's also happening in academia, in politics, in sports, in entertainment, and beyond. I think even last night, George Clooney weighed in, and he kind of supported the negative rhetoric as well.
Well, and David Axelrod, the former advisor, senior advisor to Barack Obama, he said, I like Jimmy Kimmel. He said he's funny and courageous at times when there has been too much cowardice. That said, this is a tasteless joke. The White House will use any issue to demand that he be fired because his satire touches a nerve, and ABC is right to resist, but he'd be right to apologize, which he didn't. He said that wasn't my intent. It was an age joke. It wasn't about an assassination. So we'll let you be the judge of that at home. Let's talk about Melania when the shots were fired. We saw that video when she's talking to the mentalist. He's trying to guess Caroline Leavitt's the name of her baby, and they're talking, have a normal conversation, and then the shots are fired, and watch her reaction. What's happening? What's happening?
Well, look, at this moment in time, Melania was totally under control. She knew what was happening. Believe it or not, she was not afraid. And fortunately, she was strong and she's safe. She wasn't hurt. I think what she realized at that moment in time, that everything had to be taken care of appropriately. She followed proper protocol. She was the first one to duck, and you saw that. And she was telling the president, come on, let's go, get down, let's go. And then from there, she moved on. She's very happy that the entire room was safe. She's very happy that she was safe and secure. But This needs to stop. We can't live this way as a society.
I know. So what happened after that? We saw her. You can watch from the distance. She kind of sinks underneath the table. His security officers were his Secret Service taking him a different way. She has her own team, I assume.
Correct. So she was quick enough and realized in the moment, she was literally the first one to react, and she realized she had to get down, and she actually crawled out, and the Secret Service helped her crawl out.
Wow. Does she talk to you about how dangerous this job is? Does she regret this? Is she willing? He said, I love country. This is the most dangerous job, but I love my country. What does she say?
The First Lady is totally committed and grateful for being the First Lady of the United States. She knows, Ainsley, that there's a risk involved, a risk inherent with being First Lady now, particularly because of this heated political climate that we're living in.
Yeah, I know Susie's having a meeting about security, because this is the third time, and it's just getting too close. So hopefully we can have perimeters. I think we need to have more perimeters. You need to go through 2 or 3 different mags before you get to the front of the line, I believe. But we'll see how that all works out.
For sure. I'm not a security expert.
Me neither.
But one thing that I do know is that these people are just like you and I when it comes to being family-oriented.
Yes.
Their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their brothers, their parents. And we need to protect our leaders. We need to think of them this way.
Absolutely. Marc, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. We did reach out to ABC for a statement, and we have not heard back.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.